And maybe you, if it's your birthday, please accept this happy birthday song as we bless you. Denise is sitting over there. We get to bless her in person. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you're wonderful. Happy birthday to you. Yay! And now's the time that we just like to honor each and every other person here. And we do this now with a little namaste, a little sharing of energy, however you feel comfortable. So namaste, namaste, namaste. And like that, I'm going to namaste, no mistake, over to Winnerly. That was a great wordplay. Namaste, no mistake.
Isn't that fun?
None of us are a mistake.
That's right.
Yeah,
No
yeah.
mistakes at all. Good morning. My name is Winnerly Zeal, and I am grateful to serve as platform assistant today. And our daily word reading for today is healing. Inspired by the words of Jesus, "Daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace." Today we give thanks for the constant activity of divine healing life, especially when our body is experiencing illness. To bolster our awareness of our capacity for healing, we place our attention on our inherent wholeness. We affirm life in our thoughts, our words, and our actions as we care for our bodies and meet their needs. Our faith assures us that illness is not the truth of us, nor is it our enduring reality. Through our actions, we are affirming wholeness as our true nature and encouraging our healing. Even when we are not facing illness, we greet each day by blessing our bodies, affirming our wholeness, and the ongoing activity of divine life in every organ and every cell. We give thanks for the gifts of divine life by giving thanks for our healing and living joyously. Our affirmation is, my thought, words, and actions affirm divine life. Let's affirm that together. My thought, words, and actions affirm divine life. Beautiful. Each month we have a core value we focus on, and the month of June, our core value is freedom. As we understand the nature of spirit to express and expand in infinite ways, we grasp the vastness of our own personal freedom. We have each been gifted with the freedom to be, to explore, and to express beyond any misperceived personal limitations. We experience life as a matrix of oneness. So our own freedom is mutually dependent on the freedom of others to explore and to live free and unlimited. Freedom is a powerful force of spirit. It breathes in us as a right to life, not only for ourselves, but for every living being. Let us affirm we champion each individual's freedom to become a full expression of spirit. Together, we champion each individual's freedom to become a full expression of spirit. Beautiful. Today we are coming to you live stream from our new sanctuary on Washington Road. While the building is currently closed in-person meetings, we await our occupancy permit. We continue to offer classes on Zoom. Mondays at 1:30, we have A Course of Love with Lucille Olson. Thursdays at 7 p.m. is A Course in Miracles with Dan and Carol Maynard. And a reminder that our prayer circle is meeting on a new day and new time. Tuesday mornings, 11 a.m. to 11:30. A perfect time to take a break and join with others in prayer. Our prayer ministry team continues to be active and available to hold you and your loved ones in prayer. Prayer requests can be made on our website by emailing the church office or by making a request at our Tuesday morning prayer service. Carol and Dan Maynard are excited to announce that Maureen Moulden will be a guest teacher at the Course in Miracles Thursday, June 10th from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on Zoom. Maureen will be discussing what are the characteristics of God's teachers from the Course in Miracles Manual for Teachers. And if you haven't met Maureen, she's also known as the Spiritual Vixen. She has gone from an illustrious career as a Hollywood actress to an internationally renowned spiritual speaker, teacher, licensed minister, prayer practitioner, and master teacher of A Course in Miracles. She's often referred to as the Course Whisperer. I love that. For her innate ability to interpret and apply Course wisdom into real-life scenarios with humor and grace. Everyone is welcome to join this meeting on our Unity Zoom link. If you need the link, contact Dan Maynard or the church office. I know I'll be there. I'm excited. Lunch brunch. Unity's Board of Trustees voted to lift our COVID restrictions in compliance with recommendations of the CDC as of June 1st. Some of our small groups are beginning to meet outside of the church. One of these is our lunch bunch. The first gathering of the lunch bunch, that's just a fun thing to say. Lunch bunch will be Friday, June 18th at Harry's Place on Verlinden on the west side at 1:00 p.m. Everyone is welcome to these no-host lunches. It is helpful to message Nancy Clater, Lisa Haston, or the church office if you plan to attend, just to ensure we reserve enough seats. But if you forget, drop-ins are always welcome. I am honored and blessed to introduce our guest soloist, Denise Coelho, today. Thank you for being here and sharing your heart art. Thank you.
That's okay. That's okay. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white. bright, blessed day, a dark, sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn so much, more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. What a wonderful song. What a wonderful singer. Thank you, Denise. So good to hear you again. All the things we miss along the way that just comes back. I want to give you first an update on what's happening about when we can all come together. The ushers are in here this morning getting familiar with the place. We are very close to occupancy. We're waiting for a permit, and what needs to be done is we have to install drinking fountains as to code. In order to do that, we can't do it ourselves. It has to be a licensed electrician and plumber. They are scheduled to come Wednesday morning at sometime there. Sometime, I don't care what time they come Wednesday, just hope they come. They complete the work, they get it done, we get that completed, and then that goes to the fire department. The fire department then does a little final check on a couple things, then that goes to the Delhi Township, and we'll get our temporary occupancy permit. I am holding the intention of us being open for June 20th. It's summer solstice. It'll be a beautiful day for us to consecrate our building, to consecrate our property, and to come together for the first time. And I will not know anything moment by moment. As soon as I know, you'll know. Watch Facebook, I don't know, we'll just try to get the word out, but we're holding the intention for June 20th. I don't think we can get through all the other steps after the plumber and electrician prior to then. But we are going to set that intention that the universe just opens up, the doors, everything flows. We have been patient. We have been prayerful, we have been dedicated, and we are intentional in our journey here. So that's all that I know at this moment in time. So we have been doing a series on our spiritual toolbox. I have our well-used toolbox back here, and the different tools that we have to help us through challenging times, like a worldwide pandemic or a broken pipe in our own home, whatever those challenges are. Heartache and celebrations, all those things. We have spiritual tools that really help us get through this. So we start out with gratitude and kindness, imagination, our trust and faith in God itself, working in and through us. Of course, there's always forgiveness and release of those things we don't want to bring forward, giving and receiving. Winnerly shared a great anagram on bliss. That blissful state always helps us through. Compassion and love. And last week I talked about prayer and affirmative prayer. And on Facebook this week, every day the affirmative prayer came up. There's a bit of a challenge out there if you want to do this 12 affirmations 12 times a day for 12 days and see what happens. Do that little experiment, see what happens. And I know myself, I could not get in the 12 times a day. It did help seeing it come up online. I would read through it and remind me. But I noticed a little difference within myself, just feeling a little more grounded, a little more sure. We tell ourselves so many rough things all the time, that we didn't do this well enough, or we need to do this, or things where we come up short, that to be reminded that we are perfect the way we are. May not be at the end of our journey, but we are in process, and God loves us all the time, and we're never alone. So the daily affirmations, they still continue for another 5 days, and there's no mark on this, so if you don't make the 12 by 12 by 12, that's okay. But it's a really interesting experience, an experiment to run to see what it's like to really tell ourselves good, positive things on schedule. You know, this gets to be a new habit. So today I have a couple new tools for you, because it said that we create our world on two things: what we ask for and what we believe in. And I think that too has to be in alignment with the laws of the universe. You know, you can't believe that this whole building is just going to float up, because there's other laws operating in the universe. But when we're in alignment with the laws of truth and order of that experience of God, this is what we manifest in our lives. And next week we're going to talk about the spiritual laws. But today, in my toolbox, here we go. I have a magic wand. This is not any magic wand. This is a magic wand of Minerva McGonagall from Harry Potter. Okay, straight from Universal Studios, from Harry Potter world. Survived the fire. It smells a little bit, but yeah, let it go. And I like the idea of the magic wand, because when they would cast spells, they would move this around. And the movement reminds me of when we say words, there's a movement, a vibration of our words, a vibration that actually sets things into motion. And then on the bottom, there's this little special power booster. And for me, the power booster is our power of zeal, of being passionate about what it is that we set our minds to. I thought the magic wand is just such a perfect reminder that setting things in motion, it's not like you just say abracadabra and it happens, but we set that whole movement of energy into motion. I could direct the band with this too, Jeff. Yeah, okay. I may let you borrow it, Justin, for your groups at the school. They would be impressed with the Harry Potter wand. Yeah, okay. And sometimes, too, the very act of saying an intention is sometimes easier than saying affirmation. Some of us are still a little bit hesitant about prayer. I'm not sure if I want to take this to God yet, but I can set an intention for what I want to do. So sometimes it's an easier entryway, but intentions work really well with our affirmations. Deepak Chopra said that inherent in every intention and desire is the mechanics for its fulfillment. I love this. Inherent in every intention and desire is the mechanics for it to happen. Hear that, universe, as we really affirm our opening here. When we introduce an intention in the fertile ground of pure potentiality, we put this infinite organizing power to work for us. So setting intentions are just a really straightforward way to make positive changes in our life, be they big or small. Usually when we're in a place that we want to change things or advance, it's because we may have delved into stinking thinking. We're carrying these thoughts that are kind of wearing us down, but we've had these stinking thoughts for so long. Hey, you know, there's no deodorant for that, right? And I love the Apostle Paul, who said, "Do not be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind." So Paul was talking about when we have these stories and we're caught up in manifesting exactly what we don't want, because that's what we keep thinking about all the time, we need to do some mind work on it to make those changes, to make those alterations. Because we always get the choice of changing direction. We always get the choice of how we label what's happening. We can always take a different path. The past does not define our future. And I read a great analogy about this. If you went to the bottom of the ocean and pulled up a rock that had been down there wet for millions of years since creation and brought it to the surface and laid it out in the sun, in a very short period of time, it would be dry. It had been wet for millions of years, but now it's dry. The same way, if you had a pebble that was on a beach for millions of years and you threw it in the water, it would now be wet. So it is with us. It doesn't matter how long you've done whatever it is you were doing that you don't want to do anymore or be anymore or experience anymore, you always have that choice to do something different. wet or dry rock. So how do we transform our minds? I mean, that's the key. You know, we've been really comfortable thinking the stinking stuff. Do there. And last week I talked about Lucille's song, Our Thoughts Are Prayers. And thoughts are like seed energy for manifestation. And Jesus told this parable about the sower. And he said, listen, a sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seeds fell on the path. And the birds came and ate them up. That happens here all the time. Some intentions that we have are simply a passing thought. Simply, the thought went through there, but boy, it just didn't take up residency. It didn't take down roots, okay? And then he says, other seeds fell on rocky ground where they did not have much soil. And they sprang up quickly, but since they had no depth of soil, when the sun rose, they were scorched, and they had no root, and they withered away. Some of our intentions are sometimes whims. Geez, that would be nice to do. Okay, I think I'd like to take a round-the-world cruise, but I never make a reservation. I think I might like to learn Spanish, but I never sign up for a class or get a tape thing. Those are those seeds that they just burn up, are those seed thoughts that we have. That's why it doesn't come into manifestation. Just setting the intention to want to be able to speak Spanish or go around the world is not enough. We need to give it some depth. And then Jesus continues that other seeds fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up and choked them. And if you think about it, what would the thorns be for our intentions? We all have some thorns in our life. It might be stories we tell ourselves that, are you crazy? No way you could do this. Or sometimes we have wonderful people in our life that come by to challenge us and say, you got to be kidding, right? Have you lost your mind? What are you talking about? And all of a sudden, that intention just kind of gets torn away, gets choked out of us. But then Jesus said, other seeds fell on solid soil and brought forth grain, and some 100-fold, some 60, some 30. He says, let anyone with ears listen to this. Sometimes if we have that intention and we put it in fertile soil, meaning if we really feed it, give it that feeling energy, that it can grow. And so many times that first intention gets so much bigger than we ever thought. Sometimes to set the intention for where we're going to be would be too far. We couldn't even imagine it yet. But if we set that initial small intention, it grows and produces 30, 60, 100-fold of even the effort we put into it. Is this wonderful magnifying power when we are in alignment. Another thing that Jesus said that was so powerful, he said that listen and understand, it's not that what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but it's what comes out of the mouth. And I can right now introduce you to absolutely my best friend and my absolute worst enemy. And it has to do with my mouth, my tongue, and my vocal cords. Because I can do more damage to myself by what I say about myself than I could do to me any other way. On the other hand, I can do really powerful things by having a positive self-talk, by saying those affirmations. I am a delightful creation of the Creator. I am a joy blossoming. Those positive ideas about ourselves, because that's the truth of our being. Think about it this way. Sometimes kids talk about, put-downs. And in YOU, anytime we heard somebody say a put-down, you had to give 3 put-ups for the other person. What a great practice for us if we catch ourselves saying, oh, you are just so clumsy, or whatever that thing is, and then say, yeah, but you're also loving, you're also kind, some kind of put up. I mean, think about it. Do you find pleasure in your own words, the way that you talk to yourself? Would you say it to a best friend, the way that you talk to yourself? So, now, this is about individuals, but as a community, which is a group of us individuals, I think it's so much about us being intentional in our plan for coming together. Because we are emerging. We have been through an amazing transitional couple of years here since the fire. And living intention involves setting the intention. And you know what, y'all? You don't just wave a magic wand around and see what happens. They always set an intention with it in Harry Potter. They were always very clear. And if they didn't, you can go back to that old cartoon with Mickey Mouse when he got a hold of the Magician's Apprentice, I think it is. Right? Is that what the name of it was? And he starts waving the wand, and all of a sudden he's got a flood going, and the brooms are dancing, and they're causing all kinds of havoc. No, we are setting intentions within our community. One of the things that the leadership is doing, your leadership council, is we are taking some training in nonviolent communication. And we're doing I think 6 sessions of these, 3 sessions of these. And to help us get more skilled, nonviolent communication is, because sometimes words can create struggle, your worst enemy, the words that you're saying. But also, it's not sometimes called compassionate communication. It's about learning how to listen to each other, listen to what really the intent and the need is. And we realize that we have been separated for so long. Our skills may be a little rusty. Maybe they weren't best before everything happened. And we've been so task-orientated of getting things done and adhering to safety rules during COVID that some of our skills need a little brushing up and a little deepening. And so then this summer we're going to offer a book study. It's going to be online on Zoom, so you can even be on vacation and join us for 6 weeks to join in this training together. And then in the fall we'll have some workshops doing that, because we want to be really intentional with the words that we say, with the dreams that we plant, and the words that we hear. I don't know about you, but sometimes I've gone down some really bad roads because I didn't hear words right. The other night, Maxine said to me, I think we should buy some land in Anchorage. And I go, okay, tell me more. Well, she had said acreage, not Anchorage. And I'm thinking, why the heck would she want to go to the snow? She hates the cold. So helping us to learn to hear, and even hear behind the words, learning to hear what the heart is saying to us. So we don't want to let our intentions be, fall on rocks to be eaten by birds or burned in the sun or choked by thorns. We want to plant good, nourishing seeds that we can harvest as love and as kindness and as possibilities to lift people up. I'll say, I have not seen a person come into this building yet that didn't say something to the effect that there's so much potential here, there's so many things we can do. We could do this, and we can do this, and we can do this. It's just an incredible cauldron of possibilities for good in our world. So we know setting intentions are good, so what keeps us away from going with our intention? First one is fear of success. Sometimes we get, how about the please disease? We like to please other people, and we think if we set this intention, they will feel abandoned, or they won't like it, or whatever. And probably the biggest reason why we don't really follow through on our intention is our attention. What do we pay attention to? Where are we focusing our energy? We can get up in the morning and set an intention, but all of a sudden, something happens downstairs, and you run down, and all of a sudden you're in the midst of all this stuff, and your attention is on all the things that are going wrong, or all the things, other people's needs, or whatever it is that happens, and you've forgotten about the intention that you had set just that morning when you got up. If you've ever had a website designed, the website designer will ask you a lot of questions. They'll say to you, so what is it you want your website to accomplish? Do you want to sell product? Do you want to sell services? Do you want people to be educated about you? Do you want to collect information about who's coming onto your website? They'll ask you all these questions. Drive you crazy. Just do a website that reflects what I want. But they need to know. They need to know specifically. And setting an intention is like the same thing working with the universe to be our website designer. What is it that we intend? What do we desire our life to accomplish? Where do we want to go? What do we want to be? What do we want to do? And of course, implicit in all this intention is that there is a power within us that is working with us to achieve all these things. As Chopra said, inherent in every intention are the mechanics, the how. We don't worry about the how. The how will open up for us if we stay in line with that intention. So we need to decide what the outcome will look like. And, in setting intentions, I don't know about you, sometimes I save the really big work for the really big things. But working on this week, I'm starting a new practice that when I do my to-do list, I'm going to set the intention to go with it. So if my intention is to have lunch with a friend, my intention is going to be to have a time that is really joyful and fun and connecting. If my intention is to clean the weeds out of the garden, my intention is going to be to really enjoy working with the land and enjoying the beauty of the flowers. I'm going to set an intention for my to-do list. It's the little things, and boy, those habits really build that every time you have a task to do, that you combine it with an intention, that affirmation of the heart about what the outcome is going to be. And of course, all the intentions, I hope you're going to make them positive. You know? I know there are days that we're going to set, our mouth says, I'm going to have an awful day, and we're going to make sure it's awful, because we will just do everything possible. I really encourage you to make them positive in all your intentions. So here's a way to look at setting intentions. Think the desires. Think them in the fullness of your mind, you know, and let the list of your intentions be a living list. I have found sometimes when I've set an intention for what I want in my life, I didn't have a full enough understanding, and then it changes a little bit. Well, look at us as a church. We set an intention to restore our building, to be part of the neighborhood, to help it grow, and that morphed. It was a living list that of intentions that now we do have a handicap accessible building. Now we do have a beautiful place with nature and tons of parking. The intention list morphs as we get a greater understanding, and in that initial intention to be in service with our building, to be in service with our community, it opened up doors we didn't even know existed. And so we have this kind of list going on, but the important thing about the thinking is bringing it down to the feeling level, the womb of creation. I don't care if you're male or female, within us there's this womb of creation where we nurture and allow things to grow. And when you have the feeling of your intentions down here, when you hit a detour, as frustrated as our human self might be, you learn to take a breath. Okay, there's something I don't know here, but I know my intention is strong, and I just had the mechanics a little bit off. I was veering off course, and this is just a course correction. That's all this is, a course correction. Down the road, I'll look back and understand it. I mean, as I stand in this building today, I look back over 18 months of frustration because things didn't go according to my schedule. I wanted the city to approve us for restoring. I wanted this to happen and that to happen. And every time we tried to build, they were supposed to dig the basement there. We did a big ground breaking ceremony, and then it didn't happen. And I look back and I go, thank God. Thank God. So we have all this internal work going on, and then it's amazing when you speak them. The first time you actually share that really clear intention verbally, again, that vibration goes out into the world. And as you're speaking, see if you can be that observer that listens to yourself as the universe is listening to you. Because this is that seed thought of creation within you. Hear what it is you're saying. Hear as that great observer. And then that last powerful point for me is to pay attention. The present moment awareness, being aware of what is happening right here and right now. Because so many times I have missed an answered prayer. I was already down the road, and all of a sudden it hit me, what I wanted, I just passed. I didn't even recognize it, because I had some kind of image in my head that was so, specific to my humanness, that I missed the opportunity that was right there waiting for me. So learn to be present to everything that's going on within our own bodies and within our community around us, as we're sitting at tables next to each other, as we're driving down the road, that real awareness. Now, okay, we got all these attentions, and where do we go from here? Well, in the magic wand, I said we have this little button at the bottom. This, to me, is that power of zeal. The zeal is this kind of fuel it up, it's that booster fuel. When we're lukewarm, lukewarm does not make hard-boiled eggs, it makes chickens. I don't know where this folksy wisdom came to me. but it just stuck in my head that, lukewarm water doesn't make hard-boiled eggs, it makes chickens. And a lot of times we chicken out, the really big things, we just back off about it. And Charles Fillmore, Unity's co-founder, said that zeal is the mighty force that incites the winds, the tides, the storms, that urges the planet on its course. Zeal and enthusiasm incite to glorious achievement in every aim and ideal that the mind achieves. Zeal is the impulse to go forward. That's that rich soil, that impulse to go forward. So we're going to take a little time to go into meditation. Maybe work with some intentions within our own lives. I'm just going to invite you to make yourselves comfortable in your chair. Just take a deep breath. Give yourself permission to relax. Being present, aware of this moment. There is no past. There's only now. And as we set aside any concerns we might have, any to-do lists, we find ourselves slipping into the gap. God's awesome presence, the gap. And it's in this gap that we co-create our intentions and our desires in that womb of creation. It's a state of self-referral, the higher self, connecting us with our wholeness and our holiness. Letting go of attachments so that we might be fully in the flow, not tethered to the shore of the past, but moving ever forward in emergence. Anytime a detail comes to mind, our self-assurance reminds us that God is handling the details. Ours is to simply be, to be in the gap, to be in the flow. And you may have some intentions that come to mind. Or maybe you're at that point that, with everything a possibility, where do I begin? So allow the words that I speak, the intentions that I share, to be a seed that can grow in you as well as me. I intend to be happy. I intend to have a lot of fun and laughter in my life. I intend that I am fully kind, fully loving, fully gentle. It is my intention that I am in excellent health, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. My intention is that I always remember that God is taking care of everything. Remember that God is in the midst of every situation, and God is there first. Whenever I sit not knowing what to do, I set an intention for me that I am shown what it is that is mine to do next. I intend that I am guarded and protected at all times. I intend to see all people at the highest light all the time. I intend to live on a clean and vibrant earth. I intend to remain open to receive abundance, abundance, and more abundance. I intend that complete and utter joy be in my life now. I intend that all my thoughts, words, and deeds serve the highest and best good for the whole universe, as well as the highest and best good for myself and for others. And we take a moment to let these seeds take root in that womb of creation within us. And so it is, and so it will be, and so it is intended, and so it is affirmed. Thank you, God, and amen. Okay, and a little hint there, if you have any limitations on your intentions, it is not trespassing if you go beyond your own boundaries. Just giving you permission. So there's 5 more days of affirmations. Be showing up there on Facebook, or you could add intentions to your to-do list. Or you could hold in prayer, and maybe you could hold in prayer with us, all of us, as Unity Spiritual Center, to see those doors being permitted opening to the public, and knowing that God's in charge and taking care of the details. So I'm so glad I don't have to do it. Okay, so with that, I'd like to invite Denise to come back up here and set the intention, the vibration. Just move us with your music and your words, and most of all, your heart. You're always such a shining heart. Come on up. I'm just holding space in the cameras till you get up here. You're welcome, Denise.
Grab your coat and get your hat. Leave your worry on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear a pitter pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life can be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. This rover crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with those blues on parade, but I'm not afraid. Oh, it's Rover crossed over. If I never have a cent, I'll be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side. On the sunny side. On the sunny side of the street. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Denise, that was fabulous. And Unity Band. Woo, fantastic. Ready to dance. Now is the time we enter into a time of joy as we celebrate our abundance, both as a community and for each of us individually. We acknowledge that God is our source of supply, which lavishly flows to us through many channels. The Unity community, which is all of us, enjoys a stream of supply of time, talent, and treasure, which meets and exceeds any demands. We celebrate abundant resources that fulfill our every need as we co-create a new spiritual home that serves us well. Allow the words of celebration I speak to be the words of your own heart. We join efforts in thought, prayer, and action to bless our earthly abundance, to meet all the needs of our spiritual home, even as our personal supply meets and exceeds our individual needs. We bless these gifts that have been given and the gifts we continue to receive. And so it is. Amen. We are very grateful for the love offerings this ministry has received from all the members of this community, both online and through the mail. Thank you, each and every one of you who continues to so generously support this ministry through this extraordinary time. We also celebration the PPP grant we received, which will help us recover expenses until we are fully functioning again. We are a tithing congregant, and it's with added celebration that we tithe our abundance with others. Our congregant's choice for the second quarter of this year is the Greater Lansing Food Bank. They continue to do such a remarkable job responding to greatly increased demands during this pandemic. We thank them for their selfless work and know that our gift will go forth to do great things. We give thanks for the gifts that have blessed our Unity community, as well as celebrating the gifts that have blessed our lives personally. Right now, we set intention to energetically, oh, where's the wand? To energetically celebrate and welcome our many blessings. We give our attention to our intention, to stand in the divine flow in our day-to-day experience, any open channel to receive all the good until our hearts fill and overflow. Whatever we each have experienced with this week, let us take a moment to express our deep appreciation for the love, the kindness, the support, the thoughtfulness of the blessings that poured into our lives. Let us affirm together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I praise, give thanks, and am glad. And now, let us join together in our closing song, I Choose Love, followed by the prayer of protection.
Okay, we're going to go have the trio.
We are one tie that binds us that can't be undone. I choose love. Peace on the planet is growing because I choose love. Let love be present, it's what we're made of. I choose love. We are a part of each other. We are one. One choice unites us. Let this be the one. I choose love. You choose love. We choose love. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God is within us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Thank you. A little takeaway music coming.